Alright, so I'm still in Etna. I need to get out of here. I'm tired of this. But in a twist of events, so you know how I just skipped that last section like willy-nilly because I was tired and just didn't want to? Well, yesterday they closed like a 20-mile section just south of Etna, like stopping at that summit trailhead, which is kind of funny. Kind of makes me glad that I randomly skipped, because if not, I would have probably been like right next to the fire as or before they closed it and had to get the hell out. And so I didn't have to deal with that scare, which is nice. I also, like, I don't know, it kind of feels like someone just, like, gave me the green light for that skip, even though there was no reason. But now I can claim there's a reason. But the bad news is, A, that's another wildfire, which is bad. But B, yesterday when they closed the trail, that fire was 27 acres, and then we woke up this morning and it's like 270 and still like not contained at all, which makes me a little nervous to just go back to that trailhead, the Etna Summit trailhead, because it, like, the closure area is literally right up until there, and if it's not contained and it's spread that much overnight and they aren't updating the pages all the time, I don't like that. I don't want to become stuck in a wildfire or in smoke or whatever. So I'm going to the coffee shop and gonna talk to other hikers and see what people are doing. But I think a lot of people might be skipping to Seiad Valley. Maybe. I heard some people are definitely doing that, like with a ride from a trail angel. But the people who are doing that are like the Strider and his 9-year-old kid. And so it's like, yeah, obviously people are gonna drive you. If not Seiad, I mean, the next place to skip to would be Ashland, which I don't really love the idea of skipping all the way to Ashland, because I did really want to like see the California-Oregon border on the trail, and also that's just like a big skip for a fire that won't affect most of that area. But if I can't get a trail angel ride to Seiad, Ashland you can get to with public transportation. It'll take like a day. Or like I would leave Etna at like 4:30 and then get to Ashland like sometime tomorrow. I'd have to get a room somewhere else for the night, but like it could be done pretty easily, I think. But I'd rather just skip to Seiad. So yeah, I don't know, that's kind of like my update right now, but which is to say that was not the only skip I'll do. The fires are never ending, and I gotta figure out what the hell I'm doing and get out of Etna. Also, there's supposed to be more thunderstorms today, and then like a big heat wave, so there could be more fires popping up. And this is just kind of the state of the PCT at this point, which really sucks because fires are really scary for hikers and communities around in the environment and stuff like that. But what can you do? So that's where I'm at. Nothing like seeing the morning firefighters and hotshots roll down the street. Thankful to them. All right, I got a ride to Seiad Valley. I was like hanging out in that coffee shop and trying to find some plans with people. We were posting on Facebook, stuff like that. And then a hiker came in through the door and said, we have a spot for one more who wants to go. And there was like at least 30 hikers in the coffee shop, and everyone kind of like stared, and you could see people were contemplating like, do I go and leave my group and be that person, or do I try to find a different ride? And I haven't really been committed to one group, so I said, I'll take it. And we got to Seiad Valley, and then we learned about there's like because it's a hell of a climb out of Seiad, like very steep and decently long. And so we heard about an alternate way up with a road walk. So we're doing that. I was together with the group that I got driven with for a bit, and now I'm a little bit ahead, but you know, we'll be bopping around. But really, my goal for today is just to like get on the PCT and hopefully do a couple more miles, because like in my mind, you know, I already skipped so many miles ahead, so it's kind of as if I were further along than I am. I don't know if that makes any sense, but point being, I don't feel a ton of pressure to do like a long day, especially when there's such a hard climb. So that's what's going on today. And I got these 6 sunglasses in Walmart because I had lost the other ones on that cliff falling adventure. So now I look even more crazy than I already did. All right, here's a little update. It's 2:30. I started the climb at like 11, maybe 11:30, probably 11:30, because we got dropped off at like 11. I'm feeling not great, which is expected out of a long climb, even if it is reasonably graded. Plus it's pretty hot out, and we started late at a very low elevation, so I'm having some Sierra City flashbacks, but I won't puke this time, I hope. I haven't had lunch, which sucks. I usually am very on it about having lunch at like 11:30, noon at the latest, but I feel like with the heat, it doesn't really make sense to test my stomach. So I've had some light snacks. My plan is... All right, here's my update. It's a little before 4. That is where the trail meets the road. I was basically... So, me and the 3 people that guy got a ride to Seiad with, the woman who drove us, who was super awesome, was like, oh, do you want to get dropped off at the trail or the store or whatever? And we said the store because we were like, oh, you know, the trail's only a mile up and we need to use the bathroom and stuff like that. Get stuff from the store. And so we did that, and then we didn't realize that there was a way that you could dirt road walk up the climb that was graded a little better, and I think chopped off a mile or 2. And so we started hiking, walking up that, and a couple hours later, the woman who drove us to Seiad, her car passes us going up, and we were like, huh. And you know, she stopped and said hi, and I guess she was should have gone right back to Seiad, or right back to Etna, and picked up another car full of hikers going to Seiad, and she was dropping them off at like the top of this big climb on the trail, which we thought was kind of funny because we were like, wait, I didn't know that was an option. And then I think I was taking the last video as she came, or no. Okay, then she came back down from dropping them off, and like she had already done so much by driving us nearly an hour and a half to Seiad and refusing our money, that that I was like, oh, like I don't want to ask her, you know. But my buddies behind me did ask her, and so she turned around and drove us back up to the top, which was amazing because we were further than I thought we were. I thought we were 2 or 3 miles. It was probably more like 5, and it was exposed and like a climb. So that was lovely. So I think that last clip you saw me cut it off, just because that car was rolling up. And now I'm back on the trail. There's still a little bit of climbing. I'm only going to go 2 or 3 more miles. Because I'm usually setting up by this time, honestly. And I don't know, I don't want to go much further. There aren't a lot of viable camp spots nearby either. We're in another small burn zone. So that's kind of my status update. There's also been a few raindrops. See, I love the rain, hate the lightning because of the fire danger. And I just got a view of like that side of the valley because we drove up the other side. I mean, I guess they're both a little hazy, but that side looks really hazy to me, which I hope is mostly like the clouds or the storm and not, I mean, it's probably mixed with smoke for sure too, but I don't know. I think I've been on edge with all the fires in the last week or so. Both the ones actually popping up near us and the one, just the potential and the implications and having to skip and more so the danger, I don't know. But I don't know, yeah. It's interesting. We'll be in Oregon tomorrow though. Here is a 0.5 little panorama moment. The clouds are really cool, even though they don't bode well for my purposes. I've got less than, or like around a mile until where I'm planning on camping, which is kind of just along a random bridge that supposedly has 1 or 2 tent sites nearby. And I think the lightning, like I'm not really worried about the lightning directly. And I have sometimes in the past because I somehow always end up on sketchy ridges, camped in thunderstorms recently. But I'm not too concerned about that this time, but I am always concerned about the possibility of another fire starting. Especially like, I mean, straight up, it's just scary to be like, yeah, a fire or multiple fires could start near me in the middle of the night and I could not know, you know, especially if you don't have service. So that's the only part that actually freaks me out, but it's fine. We ball. Update. I'm in camp and I have my tent set up, so that's a win, but I gotta get all my stuff together and hope that I set this up well enough that it won't flood me too much. But yeah, the weather's pretty gnarly and I don't know, it's hard with the like risk of wildfires because it's like there's not much you can do, you know, especially since like in this context being afraid of the lightning means like it hasn't happened yet. Like, you know, I'm worried about like potential fires. So there's not a whole lot you can do about possible potential fires. So I camped tonight. I should be in Ashland like 2 days from now. I think 2 nights from now I'm gonna be camped like right before the road, just to save a bit of money, and also because I need to pick up my shoes, but I don't think they'll have arrived by then. But it's just kind of funny being like, oh yeah, I'm literally going to be in Oregon tomorrow and in Ashland really soon, even though I was in, you know, Shasta a couple days ago, just because there were, you know, the 2 skips. Like, I don't know. So that's just weird. But I really enjoyed the crew that I kind of hiked with today and rode with today. They were really cool, and they were talking about going to trail days, which I wasn't gonna go to because I am not gonna make it in time up to Cascade Locks, and so I was like, oh, it's not gonna be worth my time. But like, it could be fun. So maybe in 2 weeks I'll be at trail days. I don't know. I probably shouldn't. I probably won't like it that much. It'll probably be too much for me, but I might. I probably will for the plot. But yeah, that's where I'm at, and that's probably where I'll end this vlog. Oh, and when we got dropped off at that parking lot, we were hanging out there eating their lunch, and this family came back from a 3-day backpacking trip, and I got a Gatorade, so that'll go nicely with my dinner that I don't really want to eat, but I will maybe sort of